Yeah. So basically, a lot of people have been talking about this, and a lot of people have given their opinion about it. And I just wanted to give mine. That's all I want to do. All I want to do is give my opinion about this. And I'm gonna actually play a little devil's advocate. All right, I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate on this shit. And the reason why is because I can see it both ways. That's the reason why I'm playing devil's advocate. And the first thing I want to talk about is the female's defense. All right. Really, the only thing that you can have as far as a defense on a female level is she's a female. That's the only thing that she has on her side is the fact I'm a female. I'm a female, you a man, you shouldn't have been able to put your hands on me. That's the only defense that they can bring. And a lot of people that are in favor of the female on her side of the situation, that's what they lean to. That's what they say. And I agree. I agree that you shouldn't hit a woman. I agree that it's not right to put your hands on a woman and beat her. But then again, I believe it's not right for a woman to try to put her hands on a man. I don't think anybody should be putting their hands on anybody. All right? That I do believe in. And the thing about it is, like I said, playing devil's advocate, leaning towards the side of the woman, I might agree the fact that he may have went a little bit overboard with his response to her touching him or putting her hands on him. Right? Because you gotta see this fucking clip though. I mean, oh my God. I mean, he hit the shit out that girl. That was a fucking haymaker. A haymaker. Not haymaker. A haymaker. And I just think that there could have been other ways that he could have dealt with it. You know, I'm not going to judge this man. I'm not going to say that he's wrong. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say he should feel ashamed of himself or put him down as a man and try to take anything away from his manhood because of what he did. Because ain't nobody above getting an ass whooping. I'm sorry. Ain't nobody above getting an ass whooping, especially if that person spit on you. That is so fucking disrespectful. That is like the utmost. I'd rather you hit me. Fucking please hit me. I would rather the woman put her hands on me and punch me in the face. I'd rather her kick me in the fucking balls than her to spit on me. Cause spit is just, you spit on the fucking ground, dog. Like you spit on stuff that's irrelevant, that's not even, it has no value. That's basically what spitting on somebody is equivalent of saying. You have no value. You ain't shit. And that is, whew, yeah. I can only imagine what would have happened if I would have been the one in those shoes or whatever. I hope to God I never do get in those shoes. But anyway, like I said, as far as her defense, that's really the only defense that she had. I'm a woman, so therefore you shouldn't have been able to put your hands on me or whatever. But here's the thing though, man. A lot of women, what y'all gotta realize is you can't run up on every dude and do shit like that. You can't just put your hands on any man and think that it's gonna be okay. That he's not gonna do anything. I'll call my boys, I'll call my fiance, or I'll call my boyfriend and he'll take care of this or whatever. You gotta be careful how you handle situations like that. When you get in arguments with dudes, you got to keep a level head. And that's what happened with this chick. She didn't keep a level head. She let her pride get to her. That's what it was. He was talking about her. He was saying that she was ugly, basically, because of the fact that she looked like her face is cut up. And she took it to the head. She took it to the head and tried to go for him. And dude overpowered her. I mean, of course he did, because he was a man. He was a bigger size than her. Or whatever. But like I said, man, you can't just assume that all dudes follow that don't put your hands on a woman philosophy, because that's not the case. You know, you can't make that assumption. And to be honest with you, a lot of dudes, when they saw this video, a lot of them agreed with the brother. They was like, yeah, man, that was wrong with what she did. I don't have no fault with the dude. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, she overstepped her bounds. She stepped to, like the dude said in the video, she stepped to me like a man, so I responded like a man. And if you prepared to do stuff like that, you got to be prepared to take, you know, whatever that may come. And she took that fucking hit. She took that shit. I was surprised at that, man. Damn, I ain't gonna lie. If that nigga would have hit me like that, I'd have been out. I would have been just waking up to do this fucking show if he'd have hit me like that. But she took that fucking hit. But anyway, and another thing too is, like I was saying, not every brother is following that rule that you should put your hands on women, but especially old school brothers, old school black men, young black women. You gotta understand, old black men, they don't grow up in these times. They didn't grow up in these times, man. You can't talk to an old head like that. You can't put your hands on an old head and expect nothing to happen. And the reason why I say that is because they come from a different time. I know it doesn't seem like they've been that far away removed from the current times, but it is. Because you got to think about the times that they grew up in. You know, during those times, it was nothing for a man to beat a woman. Yeah, I mean, especially them country niggas. Man, country nigga used to beat his woman for putting too much salt on the chicken. You got too much salt on this chicken, bitch. Didn't I already tell you about that? Where my coat hanger at? Beat the shit out of with a coat hanger. Because it's some fucking chicken. That is not uncommon for them. They grew up with that. They grew up watching their fathers beat their mothers. They grew up beating women of their own when they got older. That's not something that's irrational to them. They don't follow that fucking rule, you know, because it was a different time. And it's not just for black men. It's just for men in general. You know, back in those days, it was a taboo thing. Nobody really talked about it, but nobody really judged men for putting their hands on women. I mean, even with the pop culture at that time, you know, the TV show Honeymooners with Jackie Gleason. For those who don't know, Honeymooners was a television show that aired in the 50s. And one of the things that was funny about the show was the fact that here was a working schmuck who was trying to make a living, and he had this beautiful wife, and this beautiful wife, she used to have a smart mouth. She used to mouth off to him. I forget what the character's name is. But anyway, they used to argue with each other, and she used to mouth off to him saying smart stuff. And one of the catchphrases that he had was, one day, Alice, one day, bing, bow, boom, to the moon. A lot of people don't know what that meant. But what he was basically saying was, one of these days, I'm going to put them paws on you. And that's where it came from. He was basically saying, you keep mouthing off to me, bitch, and one day I'm gonna take my fist, because he used to hold his fist up in the air, bang, pow, boom, to the moon, saying I'm gonna knock you out to the moon for talking shit to me. And people thought that was funny. That was hilarious. People laughed at that shit. They were like, oh man, there he is. There's that catchphrase. There's no way in fucking hell you can have a show like that now. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine in 2012 you have a show that makes light of domestic violence? No, that shit would never happen. And the reason why it would never happen is because of the 70s. A lot of people, you know, they underestimate the power of feminism, the feminism movement. Feminism movement changed a lot of shit. And one of the things it changed the thought, the way we as Americans view domestic violence. We started to see women as more victims, and we started to look at men who did those type of things as weak individuals, you know. And it's funny and it's kind of ironic, because it's like, in order to give women more power in the home and more power socially, we have to make them look like victims, you know. And I'm not saying that the women that get beat on are not victims, but what I'm saying is, it's to the point where in any situation, regardless of what the situation is, if a woman gets, you know, physical with a man, it's always the situation where the man is the predator and the woman is the prey. You know, she's the one that's the victim. There's never a situation when a man puts his hand on a woman that he's in the right and she's in the wrong. It's never a situation. You know what I'm saying? and I don't subscribe to that shit. I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe it's okay to put your hands on a woman. I definitely don't believe that. But I don't see, it's not that black and white. The world is not that black and white. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? You see it on cops all the time. Anytime there's a, you know, the cop will be driving around in the car. Yeah, we got a domestic violence call. We're about to pull up. And they get out of the car. Hey, buddy, what's going on? You go ahead and put your hands behind your back. It's like they don't even know what's going on. They don't know what the fuck just happened. And then sometimes it'll be a situation where you're like, yeah, she tried to stab me with a knife, and then that's when I pushed her off me, and I grabbed her and I shook her and I put my hand around her neck to try to stop her from stabbing me. Well, buddy, you know you can't put your hands on your woman like that. Like, fuck that shit. She trying to stab a nigga. Shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like situations like that. Like, it's one thing when you're doing something in defense versus you're doing it because you don't know how to handle your emotions. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with that. I don't agree with a man putting his hands on a woman because he doesn't know how to handle his emotions or whatever. But I'm not going to say that it's never a situation where a man should not retaliate with physical violence or some physical nature or whatever.